everybody. It's Jim of Animateducated. Today we've got a new guest. Her name is Lucie Julliat, and she is a cleanup artist. So I would just want to welcome you to Animateducated, and just tell us a little bit about, like, how did you get into animation as a kid?
Yeah, well, I used to love drawing, to be honest. So at the beginning, I didn't know I wanted to do animation. I wanted to do comic art, which was different from animation. But after I just found out at school that animation was more my thing.
And you went to Emile Cole, is that it?
Yes. That's a French school in Lyon, so it's Emile Cole School.
Did you make a film when you were in school?
Yes, we had to do a graduation film. So mine was called Père Cuisson. He was a chef that was stuck in the kitchen, but he just wanted to go and play music.
With the style, you've got a real interesting style. It's kind of all colors as opposed to lines around the character. Did you do that in TV Paint?
Yeah, it was made in TV Paint. The character was 2D animated, but the background was made in 3D. So everything was built on a 3D space. And so I rounded that and I did the animation on the top of that. But yeah, it was really geometrical shapes.
I think he wants to be like Fred Astaire. I think that was the whole thing.
Yeah, he was doing some tap dancing. Yes.
That's it. Yeah, that was really cool. I saw that and then I thought, oh, that's interesting. You went from that and then you went into doing some storyboards for PJ Masks.
It's a TV series on Disney channels. So I worked on the storyboard for one episode on the third season.
And then from that was like 2019, and then from there you got into Klaus. How was that?
That was the best experience, to be honest. I've got hired. So my friend posted the ad on a group that we have from school. And so they were looking for cleanup artists. So I just applied. I did a test. And so I got hired as an assistant on Klaus.
You're in London, and then you went to Madrid and you worked there for like a year or so, or?
A bit less than a year, yes. I think it was 10 months, totally, yeah.
So what was that like at the studio?
Really exciting, to be honest, just to step inside the studio, a big studio for a big feature film. It was my first, so it's very exciting to see how the building are set, every department and all the people working. It was brilliant. I was really exciting, and so.
Yeah, so that's great. I mean, that's the first time you worked in a big studio.
That's
right. I bet, you were just like, wow, you probably learned a lot about all the different departments and all that.
Yeah, that's it. Just by looking already, it was,
I see you worked on Ninja Turtles and at one episode of that, and then you worked on Wolfwalkers. So did you go to Ireland, or did you you stay in London?
I was not working with Cartoon Saloon. I was working with another studio that helped them, so based in France. First studio, but I was working from London with them. So okay. I was working from home with the French studio for Cartoon Saloon.
So was that any different, since now you're not in a studio, you're actually outside kind of?
Yeah, we had a few meetings, but once you got your scene assigned and, your supervisor is telling you what to do, you really just have to produce your scene, But on Wolfwalkers, it was different from Klaus, because on Klaus we had the cleanup was split into the assistant and the in-between, so the shots were shared between artists. But on Wolfwalkers, you had your shots, so you were doing the assisting, the keys, the spot keys, the breakdown, and then you were doing the in-between. So you were doing the full shots.
Oh, okay.
Once you get it, you ask the supervisor to look at your shots, to see how it goes. but then, you just have to produce your shots. So you just have like a meeting here and there, talk with them on Skype, and yeah, you can do that from home. And I mean, I like that, it's just, I miss a bit the contact of the other people, obviously, but it's something you can do from home as well.
With COVID and everything, that's kind of shut down. We thought everyone would be shut down, but in animation, it's okay. I mean, a lot of like big studios has actually sent their employees home with equipment, and they're still working from home. So, and in the past, it's been really strange because you would want to have that situation where you didn't want to go to work and drive for an hour and a half to get to work and all that. And then, but now it's like, yeah, you just kind of wake up and jump in onto your computer and start working. How do you prefer that now? Do you think that's going to change anything, or?
Well, I don't know, but for me, I was able to be on production during COVID, and I'm super happy with that. I was not unemployed, so it's just great, right? So I was on the Summit of the God. It's another film. And so during COVID, everybody was working from home. So we were all connected through Skypes, talking to each other, telling what to do. And so working on our shots individually, just connected through Zoom or Skype or whatever. And so it worked out because the film now is finished. Of course, it's got a bit delayed, but the film is beautiful and it's finished. So it just shows that you can work from home and do a brilliant film. And actually, Space Jam as well was, we were working remotely. So yeah, it worked out as well.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about Summit of the Gods. Now, is that's another feature film?
That's another feature film, a French production, made at the Faust Studio, based in Paris. It's an adaptation from a manga. So it's a manga by Jiro Taniguchi. And so Patrick Imbert, which was the director of the film, did an adaptation of that manga, and so made that beautiful feature film.
So when you worked on these, were you specifically just cleaning up the animators' roughs, or did you actually do the whole scene, or what?
Yeah, this production we were doing the full scene. So we were not splitting the scene between different artists. We were doing the full scenes, and even we were doing the shadow animation and the tones animation sometime. So we were assigned more than one tasks.
And so, like, what were some of the? Do you remember like how long it took you to do like one of those drawings?
Well, I don't know. It was probably shorter. No, I can't say that. I think it was similar as Klaus, to be honest. Yeah, between 30 minutes and, well, yeah, less than an hour, I would say. But
on most of these things, is there a quota? Like you have to, stay at this level?
Because otherwise the production is not happy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So yeah, you had to have a quota of, I can't remember exactly on the Summit of the God, but it must have been probably 14 during a day, or 14 during a day or something like this. But yeah, maybe between 8 and 14, but I'm not really sure.
So you finished working on My Father's Dragon, right?
Yeah. And
okay.
It was a production with Cartoon Saloon, but I wasn't working with them. I was working with the French studio, the same one that I worked on the Summit of the God, and the same one I worked on Wolfwalkers. So It's called the Faust Studio.
So did you ever think you were going to be getting into animation as a cleanup artist, or were you thinking of like trying to do animation or make your own film? Or
I didn't know at all about cleanup artists, to be honest. I thought it was just animation. So I discovered cleanup artist not too long before Klaus, So yeah, I think it was just a good opportunity for me to enter into the animation industry without being straight an animator. We call cleanup assistant animator assistant as well. That's the name we call cleanup. Before, back in the day, an assistant animator wasn't really a cleanup artist, but now it's the same job.
So you've got the animator, does the animation.
Yeah.
We used to have called an in-betweener.
Yeah, the in-betweener are part of the cleanup artist, but on some production, they are you do the in-between and the assisting. But on other production where there is more money, there is two group of people within the cleanup department. And so some people do the spot keys and breakdowns, and then give the shots to the in-betweener, which finish the shots. But on some other production where there is a bit less money, the same cleanup artist as animator assistant does the full shots. It's good that more than one person look at one shot, because the animator does the movement and things, and it's good that somebody else, the cleanup artist, take over, because they can look after like consistency within the volume of the character, or correct the model if he loses if he's not on model anymore during the full shots. It's really good that there is more than one person looking at one shot, I think, because everybody will improve your shots and you will go to a higher standard after. I think it's good, to have more than one person.
Yeah, it works out, and then that way the animator can move on to the next scene and get that working, and everybody else is kind of cleaning up and fixing that previous stuff. And so
I think the more challenging things when you take a shot from an animator, it's not to lose the intention of the animator. This is the most challenging things, because sometimes the animator plays with very subtle secondary animation or things like that, and you don't want to just miss that and not draw it because you think it's not relevant, or so you really need to stick to the animation but make it better, and that's the real challenge for us cleanup artists. I think that's the main challenge.
Do you have any hobbies outside of animation?
I play in an orchestra, so I do music. So I played in a symphony orchestra or in a brass band. I play the percussion. So the percussion, the drum or the timpani,
those big drums.
The big drum,
Wow, what got you into that? That's interesting.
I play since I'm very young as well, and I think it's good to just do something else, and so I love doing that. And I cycle when I can, and I draw.
And I see you have some things back there. You said you made those cells. You painted your own cells
as a hobby as well. I draw them and I pen them when I have some free time, and another kind of hobby as well.
Do you have any advice for students that are, in animation? Anything that you wish someone would have asked you, told you when you were a student?
I don't know, but I would say just keep doing what you love to do, because, we are so lucky to be able to do a job that we love, that every hour doesn't count, you just love what you do. So you work your level up, and just go for it. It will work out.
Anyway, well, thanks for talking to me, and it was great.
Thank you.
Okay.
For having me. That's nice.
So if you need an animator, an assistant animator, a storyboard artist, or a percussionist, give Lucie a call. And I want to thank Lucie for coming on Animated Educated. Well, there you have it, another fine interview, and I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, why don't you become a subscriber? Just press that button right there. That's all you have to do. If you'd like to see other videos, I've got these two up here. They're pretty good. And we'll see you next time on Animated Educated.